Welcome back to the Shoot Like a Girl podcast. And with our next episode, we have Jada Lewis out of Portland State University. Jada is currently in her sophomore season at Portland State University, where she is having a breakout year. Jada is from Rocklin, California, just outside of Sacramento, where she attended Whitney High School. She was a McDonald's All-American Nominee, as well as setting many records at her high school for scoring and three-pointers made in a season. Jada shares with us some very valuable information from a player's perspective on what it takes to be successful at the high school level, to get a Division I scholarship, and then continue to be successful at the Division I level. I hope you enjoy. Please share and subscribe, and you can check out all of our Shoot Like a Girl merchandise at courtsidewithjules.com. Jada Lewis, Portland State University. Thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. So,
Good. You guys had practice today?
yeah, we did. We just got off a game yesterday, but we're getting prepared for the game tomorrow. So,
Good. Yeah. Caught you in mid-season, and I'm sure you're very busy. I know you guys started school recently. Talk to me a little bit about what is happening in terms of COVID right now and how classes are going along with basketball and practices and how you guys are navigating through this.
yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was kind of difficult. Just with all the changes and everything, like we get tested 3 times a week. With school, everything's online, so it's a lot of flexibility, especially with everything being online. But basketball wise, like we have a set time we're on the floor and we have no extra time to do that. So we have to get as much in as we can and we have to be focused in those 2-3 hours that we're on the floor. So I think that's the most difficult transition that we've had so far. But we've adjusted and it's doing really well. So
Good. Yeah. I couldn't imagine coaching right now in a time period like this with all the different regulations. And then speaking to a point that you just brought up in terms of being allowed in the gym, I know on your own, sometimes players would go get in the gym when it was open, but right now you guys are just limited to that team practice time. Is that correct?
yes, that's correct. We have 3 hours on the court. That includes practice, 2-hour practice plus shooting time. So any extra time we get, we're just thankful to be there and get those extra shots up that we need. So
Yeah, definitely a challenging time to get it all done. And again, I couldn't fathom doing it right now. So hats off to all of you guys, all of the coaches around the country that are making this happen and keeping everyone safe and healthy. So um, from Sacramento, California, right? Or Rocklin, if I were to be a little more specific.
yeah, Rockland.
So give me just a little background on your playing experience and how you came up through playing the game and when you started and what all of that was like for you.
Yeah, well, I basically started in the driveway. I feel like that's every hooper. But I was really young. My brother was playing basketball. He's 2 years older than me, so he was already playing AAU. And I just remember like always wanting to go to the camps he was going to, playing with him and all his friends. But I officially started playing on my first AAU team when I was in the 4th grade. I played up with 6th, 7th graders because they didn't have the 4th grade team. So I was playing up. I played up until I was in middle school. And then even then my team was playing in high school divisions and we were still up there. So um, going through middle school, high school ball really got serious for me. That's when I started like looking for, okay, I want to go to the next level. Started doing extra things like working out extra, getting extra shots up, and yeah, and then going through high school, went on a couple different AU teams, and then eventually got to where I wanted to go, which was a D1 school. So
Nice. Very well done.
yeah.
So you talked about having an older brother, and obviously you played for my AAU program for 2 years. So I got to know your family a little bit, and so follow your dad on Instagram. And he had posted, I can't remember if it's Instagram or Facebook, but he had posted a video of you and your brother. You couldn't have been older than 8, 9, or 10. And he was out, you guys were both out there working, doing some two ball handling drills at that age. And
Yeah.
I just think that video, I went, oh, it makes sense now of at that age doing a two ball handling drill. You'd make a mistake, you'd pick it back up, and you never got discouraged, you never walked away from it. And so I think that speaks a lot to how your high school career went, and then ultimately achieving your first major goal, which is playing Division I basketball.
Yeah.
So I know that you played some AAU basketball with boys. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. I was going into middle school about sixth grade, fifth grade. I was playing with the boys and the girls. So I was at tournaments, hopping from team to team. And I didn't really look at it as like, oh, I have to go play with the boys. Like I'm like, I get to go play with the boys. Like it's faster game. It's more my style at that time. And with girls at that age, like it's not always like going down the court, making a shot, coming back. It's always slower. So just being able to play with the boys, being more physical, it kind of opened my eyes. So I'm like, oh, this is like really fun. Like I want to keep doing this. So I think playing with the boys really motivated me a lot.
Yeah. Do you feel like it gave you a more physical style to your game, and also maybe a little bit of a competitive edge?
I think competitive wise, yes. Boys would always look at me and be like, "Oh, I have to beat her." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna beat you. Like, you're not
Yeah.
beating me." So, that competitive edge, they gave me that, and the physicality, like, um, that too. Like, they'd always bump into me, and I always just found a way to either get around them or to shoot it before they could even get to me. So, yeah,
Right. Yeah, I went to a very small private middle school, junior high school, and obviously I wanted to hoop too. And I probably was the only girl in the school that wanted to play basketball. And so I ended up playing a lot with the boys, hence where I came up with shoot like a girl, is because I always got made fun of, right? You shoot like a girl, yet
yeah,
I worked extremely hard on my form, as I know you have as well. So
oh yeah.
yeah, definitely can see the advantage of playing with boys and getting that extra competitive edge. So talk to me a little bit about the different AAU programs that you played for and why you made changes.
Yeah, so I started out in the fourth grade with YBA. Um, I played with them until sixth grade, I believe, and then I moved to a team called Lady Spartans. And with them, it was really fun, like because all my friends, all the people I went to middle school with and played basketball with in middle school were on my team, and it was just like kind of we just kind of picked the best people out of our areas in the middle schools and just put them on one AU team, and it eventually got to a point where like I wanted to go beyond and further. So I didn't think that staying on that team was the best for me because everyone wasn't looking to play college basketball. Everyone was just looking in that moment like I'm just here to have fun. And so I moved on. I started playing Cal Stars in my freshman year summer, and then it didn't go as planned. Like I went to tryouts and everything. I'm a shy person, so I wasn't really out there. I was kind of holding back on what I could do on the court, and that kind of affected me on the team I was on. So I moved on. I came back. It was in the Bay Area, and it was a lot of commuting also. So I decided to just stay local at the time, and then went to a team NorCal Dynasty, and it was a lot of fun. We played a lot of local tournaments, and still it wasn't a lot of competition. So I was like, okay, Dad, I need to find a new team. So that's when we found your team and Top Flight Elite, and I thought it was a perfect fit because you as a coach knew what it took to get to the next level, and you weren't just a parent like coaching your daughter's team. Like you were a coach, you're a ref, like you know how what it's going to be like in college. So it was just the right move for me, and especially with people on the team, all the players I played with, they were there to get to the next level as well. That's what I really liked because it was really competitive, never an easy practice, never an easy game. So that's what I look for.
Yeah, hats off to you on that. That's a lot of recognition at, what were you, 15, 16 years old
Yeah,
when you first came?
16.
I think a lot of players will get into the mode of, as long as I can score, I'm on the right team. I'm getting a lot of playing time, I'm scoring. Parents can even look at that in that manner. If my kid is the best kid on the team, they're going to get the look that they want. And sometimes it's true, but a lot of the times it's not. And so having that recognition of that, I need a more competitive team. I need to be in an environment that's going to get me to where I want to be. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn in any stretch of the imagination, but a recognition that you're around someone who has done it before.
Yeah.
And I look to that now in business and other things, or things that I want to learn, is who's done it before. Let me go look at what they've done, what paths have they walked, and what worked for them and what didn't. And
Exactly.
yeah, that's incredible recognition, and I think that's great advice to give any player or parent as they're trying to find what AAU program to go play for, is what's the environment that's going to work for them to where they want to get to, and
Mm-hmm.
and also speaks to loyalty. And in terms of speaking about you, not only, and I'm not just talking about playing 2 years for me, because I'm sure you could have walked, at the summer of your junior year, gone and play between your junior and senior year, gone and played for any AA team in the state of California, but also your loyalty to Portland State University. I remember, since we're speaking of AAU, when we went and played, I think it was Chicago, and the whole team was playing extremely well. You had an incredible tournament. And I remember I had some Pac-12 schools start to call me and go, "Look, what is she doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I think she verbaled, but I'm not sure. Let me ask her." And going to you about it and go, "No, I'm going to Portland State," and so having that loyalty and that decision, where I think, I'm not sure I would have done the same thing. I may have even at least played with the idea of, "Oh, let me go talk to a Pac-12 school," but knowing what is the best for you and not wavering in your integrity, along the lines of AAU and your decision to play Division I basketball, and where is just it's overlooked, and it's not, I think, recognized, or not even had in individuals at your age. So,
Yeah.
um, well done for that. Absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. And now let's talk about your high school career a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and toot your horn. You had over 1,500 points in your high school career. You hold the record for most scored points in a season, most three-pointers made in a season, most career threes, most assists and steals in a season, and your career high, I think you were too short of the record at 31 points.
Yep.
That is quite a high
Correct.
school career.
Yeah, it's
So,
fun.
yeah, it is fun. It's fun when you can make shots, isn't it?
Yeah.
So talk to me, I know obviously you played for me again at the AU level, and when you walked in the gym, I remember when you came and you tried out and someone had recommended to you, and I go, "Okay, is she good?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's all right." And you came in and you tried out, and you had this very smooth feel to the game, which on the girl side is you don't see a lot. You had this real smooth side, and then the way you shot the ball, to have the shooting form, and that package in your game, I was like, "Oh yeah, she could be, not that you weren't, but you could be very, very good." And I know that we had conversations, but between the summer after your sophomore season, so you went sophomore to junior year that summer, and then that next year when you came back and played for me in that AAU season, your game had just exploded. There was a lot of changes. I felt like you were able to do a lot more things on the floor. Tell me what you did that made that happen.
Basically, it was just the confidence level. I think, especially like when I during the summertime, every summer throughout high school, I would do extra weightlifting like 5 days a week, 3 days a week, I think. And it really boosted my confidence because I was stronger, I was faster, like, and then just translate that on the floor and during trainings and stuff, like I would always go from weightlifting to conditioning to a practice and going throughout those steps, like it really got me in shape. It got me more confidence because I'm more in shape. I could do a lot more things when I'm tired, which a lot of other athletes or a lot of other players couldn't do because they're not so much shape. They would get tired, can't do a lot of things.
Right.
But I think from my sophomore into my junior year, that jump was probably during high school season. That was the last year that we were in um, D2 level playing. So I was very confident. I'm like, okay, we need to, this is our last year in D2. Like, we need to show them that we're here. So we leave our mark. So I think that season gave me a lot of confidence because I was doing things I needed to be doing. I was scoring a lot, making shots, getting my teammates looks, making plays. So it was just a confidence level, I think, that really boosted me from those years. So
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. You were a much more confident player when you came back
yeah.
in that summer. So a lot of female athletes, especially at the high school level, do not like to lift weights, right? They don't want to get bulky. They don't want to, they're
Yes.
all in fear, not all, but the majority are in fear of getting too bulky and kind of losing some femininity to them. But you did
Yeah.
not have that fear and you got in the weight room. And what motivated you or what was the decision that you made that got you in the weight room?
Basically, like my grandparents and my dad, we were talking about it. They're like, to be great, like you need to be strong, you need to be fast, and all these things. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? And they paid for me to go train with a guy, Al Biaconi,
Right.
and he like transformed athletes, young athletes, into where I'm at now. Like, he would make up weightlifting plans, plyometric plans, conditioning plans specifically for sports. And um, going to him since my freshman year, like he's seen me elevate every single year. And every time I came back to him, he's like, "You're faster, you're stronger. Like, let's see what else we could do. Let's do more." And I'm
Right.
like, "Okay, let's get it on. Like, I'm here for it. I'm ready."
Right.
So I think, and it was just fun for me. It wasn't really a hard decision for me to be in the weight room. I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to be here." There were some days like that, but it wasn't always like I regret being here. Like at the end of the day, like I got what I needed to get done and I feel great about it. I'm on to the next day.
Right.
So I think that's just my mentality. Like it was always just fun. It was always like I got better today. I'm one step closer to my goal.
Yeah, and I think having that daily kind of input, they talk about that brick by brick, adding those layers every day, doing something to go ahead and help you forward the achievement of that goal. People lose sight, especially young players or young
Hmm.
individuals, right? We're kind of in that era of right here, right now. This is what I want. I want to get it now. And 3 years down the road, we'll all wait until my senior season. And the majority of the time, unless you're 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and athletic, it's too late.
Yeah.
And
And to be honest, like I kind of like the like kind of bragginess about it. Like everyone like find out like, "Oh, you go work out after school." Like I can't relate. I'm like, "Yeah, I work after school." What about it? Like I just
right,
kind of like that. Like they'll give me recognition for it. Even though I'm not like like seeking it out, it just like comes to me and it makes me feel good that like people recognize what I'm doing and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it.
yeah, it's nice to be
So
validated.
yeah.
Couple of things you talked about working with Al, and Al, I don't know him personally. I know he's a bit of a legend in the Sacramento area. He,
Mhm.
right, was a trainer or a strength and conditioning coach for the Kings. And I
Yes.
know Daniel Viglione speaks very highly of him, who's a former WNBA player. out of Sacramento. And so finding the right strength and conditioning coach and the right program is a world of difference, right? We're kind of in the
Yes.
age we see with trainers, and I have my own
Yeah.
opinion about, I don't train, I coach, right? And
Mhm.
training gets weird for me. It's like you're either coaching them or you're not, and so
Yeah.
I think players and parents can get lost in that world also, but having the right, again, you talk about, playing for me, someone who's been there and done it, going to Al, someone who's been there and done it at the highest level. And so you're constantly putting yourself in front of and around people who have achieved things that you want to achieve at very high levels. And I think that was
Mhm.
extremely intelligent of you to do that. And I think your allocades and your career thus far, that you've barely scratched the surface of, has shown it. And the other point, and just because I know you and your family, is that my understanding is your grandfather was a college football coach. Is that correct? And your dad
Yeah,
was
he was.
a college
Yeah,
football player.
football
So,
player, yes.
so
Yeah.
again, you're getting advice from people who've been there,
Mhm.
right? And my understanding is that they were successful, and especially being a football coach, I mean, those teams live in the weight room,
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
yeah, getting great advice. And speaking of advice, I'm sure, or I would assume, I'm not sure, that being the caliber of player you are, coming out of Sacramento's not huge. It's got a small town feel to it. Kind of everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Everything's basically within 20 minutes. I would assume that you got a lot of advice from a lot of different people. So
Yes.
my question is how did you sort through that advice to know which avenue or which advice you should take and which advice you shouldn't?
Um, Ultimately, like every decision I made, it came from myself and from me talking with my parents and my grandparents about what I want to do. And I don't think anyone else other than those people have like influenced me on a personal level to do something that I didn't want to do or do something different of like off my path. So I just took everyone's advice as like I wouldn't dismiss it, but I would take it and put it in my own way, or I would take it and try to find something different about it, or like try to see their point of view about what's going on. So I think I think it's nice getting advice from other people, other coaches, and to see how they see it through their eyes. And but ultimately, every decision I made was because I knew what I wanted, and I would talk about it with my own family and myself. So yeah.
Yeah, again, that speaks to your character, is being able to, take communication, take advice, and have your own integrity and self-determined decision about you and your future, right?
Mhm.
I can't begin to tell you how many parents, players at the junior college level and with AAU basketball, junior high and high school, that, well, so and so said this. Well, so and so said they could be this, or so and so said I could do that. And you just go, okay,
Yeah.
so not that so and so, whoever that may be, auntie, uncle, brother, cousin, friends, family friend, are bad people and they want bad things for you. Is that they don't have the knowledge and the know-how and the experience, that someone else could have, that have walked that path, so
Yeah.
that's tremendous, because I've seen players at every level take bad advice and stick to it, and there went their career. Suddenly I don't want to
Yeah.
play anymore. Suddenly, oh, it's not worth it, which, at the end of the day, I think basketball is not an end all be all. There is much more to life.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of joy and achievement of goals, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Excellent. So you're at Portland State, you know,
Yeah.
a couple things that I want to talk to you about in terms of, if someone were to categorize you as a player, we would call you a shooter,
Yeah.
right? You could shoot the ball.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not sure what your shooting percentage in high school was. I know you shot an extremely high percentage when you played for me. And this year you're shooting over 50% from the 3-point line. So what gives you, what is the mental confidence or the shooting mentality that you carry?
Um, just repetitions. I mean, like in high school, like I would always be in the gym after practice putting up shots with the shooting machine. And I think also with my dad coming in helping me shoot, like he'd be like, okay, I'm gonna stand right here, see how close I could get without me blocking it. I'm like, okay, I'll hire my shot pocket, I'll do anything I need to. So when in the game, when there's someone up on me, I could still shoot it. Like it's not a big deal for them to be in front of me and I'll still shoot it. That's just kind of how I think about it. Like you also taught me a lot of things about shooting and like things that I could do to improve, things I could do to do in a game to elevate it and basically just shoot at my highest ability. Um, yeah, but repetitions, like I love getting shots up. I like just shooting, and that's just that's just me. Like you could call me a shooter. That's what I am. So
Sure.
yeah.
Own it. Uh, Yeah, I mean, again, there's a couple points here that you bring up that one is that a recognition and a willingness to improve, right?
Mhm.
So we could say that ability is monitored by willingness, right? You have to have this willingness to be better and in order to get better.
Yeah.
And you'd be shocked. I mean, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of players who resist this wanting, not this wanting, they're going to say whatever they're going to say to make you think that they want to get better, but they resist this improvement,
Mhm.
whether it be from not doing it, whether it being from they think they know it already, whether there's this fear of failure, right? But you have this willingness to not only get better, but to do the work.
Yeah.
I know you love to get on the gun and then to put yourself without a coach or a trainer in a game situation with your father.
Yeah.
Like here, get as close as you can so that I know how I need to be in a game in order to be successful.
Yeah.
That's just, to me, that's just strategic improvement, which takes the length of time and just shrinks it.
Mhm.
Right. And so I can see just from talking, I mean, we've never talked about this. I had no idea that it's no wonder that your game, basically overnight just exploded, is because you have this kind of strategic mind of how I'm going to improve and what I need to improve upon.
Yeah.
Good.
When you
And
know specific, wait, like yeah, like when you know specifically what you need to do. For me especially, I could work on it a couple times. I'll work on it day after day, and it'll just be there, and I could do it. But until I know the specific thing, it'll take some time. But yeah, that's why I think it was such a quick turnaround for me because I would know exactly what I needed to improve on, and I would try to work on that every time I was on the floor and got extra time to do it. So
and how did you go through finding out what you needed to know to improve upon?
Um, just like after a game, my dad would always talk to me. He's like, "You need to drive more." Like okay, like I'll see when I could drive and do it in practice first. Like practice how you play, basically even better how you play. So that always stuck with me. Like I'm not gonna try to keep shooting open shots. I'm gonna try to bring them up to me and then drive it. Like just stuff like that. And also nowadays, well, now when all the games we're playing, we have film on everything. So
Right.
when I go back and watch film, I could pick out, okay, I could have drove here, but I needed to do a rip through or jab
Right.
step first, and to get me and myself open. So little things like that, film definitely helps a lot now. So yeah,
Yeah. So how often are you watching film?
every day. especially now since we're in the middle of the season, it's very crucial. Like I can't really take a day off on watching film because we film all of our practices. We could see the practices right after practice. So I'm at night getting with the coach or just by myself, going through it. I'm like, okay, we'll see my possessions in this play we're running. How can I improve it? Or okay, you did really good on this. Like keep doing that. And on defense, especially rotations wise, like I'm not high enough. By next time when they're this high, I need to be this high. Stuff like that. So just watching film helps me a lot. So.
And are these film sessions that you have with your coach, are they scheduled by you or are they scheduled by your coach?
They're scheduled by me. It's up to myself as a player. Like I want to do this and I need a coach to open my eyes to things he wants me to see. He wants me to do. So, it's crucial for me to get his opinion because like I could always think something, but he'll be thinking like, oh, you need to do this instead. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Because that's what he's looking for. That's how I'm going to get more playing time. So I need to do it his way and then I'll get there. So,
yeah, it's a great way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches hold the keys.
Yeah.
So tell me what the biggest difference is in your mind now being at the Division I level in terms of practices and games as compared to high school.
It's all more serious. With our practices, it's 2 hours long. In high school, we had 2 hour long practices, but the difference is that it's go, go, go. It's not like go for a drill, 1 minute water break, sit down, chill, and come back on the court. We're going to start next drill. It's sprint to your spots. We're here, run the drill, get 30-second water break, come back on the floor while running, jogging to get the water, coming back. We're on to the next drill, going through, and then water, come back. We're playing now. And just like that quick turnaround is a lot different than in high school. In high school, it was a lot more lackadaisical. Like, we weren't like going full speed half the time. Like our coach would be like, go full speed, go, go, go. But now it's like go full speed or we're on the line running.
Right.
So to avoid running, to avoid doing all that extra stuff, like get it done the first time. We won't have to do extra running. We'll get what we need done and you'll have a good workout and we'll get everything we need done. So.
Right. Yeah. I can attest that practice planning is a strategic effort. I mean, you thought you had it rough playing. Practice planning is practice planning, game planning, breaking down film, all that is it's a challenge, to make sure that everyone's on the same page, everyone's improving, you get in what you need to get in, and you never feel like you had enough time. And at least for me, never felt like, you got enough in or you're good enough at it to get into a game. But so yeah, the go, go, go at that level. And plus, at least at the junior college level, we kind of had all the time in the world in a sense. But I know, the 4-year level has these restrictions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely serious on a whole new level.
Yes.
And are you guys lifting weights also?
Yeah, we lift weights, especially with our games Thursdays and Saturdays. We have weights at the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, before practice. So it's really early. And then we have about an hour to 45 minutes to shoot around before practice starts and to just chill, eat a snack or something like that. But weights before we started playing was harder. It was harder than it is now, especially because we're running basically every day. Like Monday, Tuesday practices are tough because we don't have a game the next day.
Right.
We're just staying in shape. So,
What time is your weightlifting session in the morning?
Weightlifting, we have to be there at 6:45. Starts at 7, and then we have to be on the court by 8, and then ready to go.
Yeah, it seems to be a mantra, of early morning weights and then practices. I know when I played, we had 6 a.m. weights, 8 a.m. individuals, and a 4 p.m. practice. You're like, and then when do I go to school and sleep?
Yeah.
It's a workout. It's a time management skill, and you either figure it out real quick and keep your body right, or you struggle and it gets rough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So last year you were injured the large majority of the season. I think 18 games. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You, you came back very late in the season. So really didn't get a chance to showcase, didn't get a chance to play. Started out this year, with it obviously being COVID, practices got cut a lot shorter in terms of the starting later, and limited to what you could do on the court. And then you guys started your season mid-December, is that correct?
Yeah.
At Dixie State?
Dixie, yeah.
And so I know the first couple of games, I'm thinking if it were up to you, you'd play 40 minutes, but you weren't getting the kind of playing time. And I'm not saying you're selfish. I know you want to win, and that is your sole goal in the game. But obviously, any player who's on a team wants to play.
Yep.
So you were getting maybe 4, 8, 10 minutes, and then got an opportunity, and are now averaging about 30, 34 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about what happened.
Yeah, so definitely in the beginning of the season, when we first started playing, my coaches had high expectations for me, and I just wasn't meeting them at the time. Practices, I was very, I wouldn't say scared, but I was just like kind of holding back on myself and not doing exactly what they telling me to do, and that really affected my playing time. And so they started talking to me more. I'm like, okay, like I want to get on the court. I'm going to watch more films, see what I need to work on, and I'm going to do what you guys are telling me to do. And so I'm in practices. Practice is my time to shine. I thought, because I wasn't getting it in the games, I needed to show it in practice first. I'm like, okay, whoever's guarding me, I'm not going to let them guard me. I'm going to attack or shoot it or make a good play. And then like defensive wise, same thing. Like I'm not going to let them score on me. I'm going to be where I need to be, so they don't have any reason to not put me in the game. And then eventually they gave me that shot at a starting spot. Okay, this game's my time to shine. Like I'm gonna watch extra films, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to be extra prepared for this game. And that's what I did. Just that whole night watching film, woke up, watched film, and then the next day I was like, okay, I'm starting today. I'm getting in gym early, getting more shots up. And then game time started, and then I just let go of everything. I was like, okay, I just need to breathe because I've been so worked up. This is my first game starting. And then that game, as you know, went well for me.
Well,
And then
I think beyond well, you went 7 for 9 from the floor, 6 for 8 from the 3-point line. And I think a lot of players in that situation would still have that fear set in, like, oh, beep, if I make a mistake, that's it. This is my one shot. And if I screw it up, it's over, and can continue to stay in this fear of failure. And you didn't.
Yeah, I was just thinking at that moment, like when I first started, I took my first shot and I was like, okay, I made this shot. I'm good now. Like once I make that first shot, I'm like, no worries are left. Like I'm good. I don't need to worry about anything. Like as long as I'm doing what I need to do, I'm gonna stay in the game. And after I hit that first shot, I was just very confident in myself. I'm like, okay, I can handle the ball now. Like, give me the ball. I can go make a play. I'll play my role in defense. I'll play my role on the offense. So, and that's what I did. And that's why I stayed on the floor for that game and the next game. That's why I'm still starting now. So, my opinion. But
yeah, hey, it needs to be your opinion. If it's not your opinion and not your self-determined decision on it all, it's never going to work out. A couple things, I know you play, well, first thing is So you talked about like in practices early on, right? You were holding yourself back. And I think when you watched film, you could see that you were moving much slower,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so tell me just, it's kind of an interesting concept that when we let go or not hold ourselves back in our minds or whatever we want to call it, is that physically we alter and we change. Is that real for you? Is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was just worried about letting my teammates down or not doing what I needed to do, that I was holding myself back physically. And after I let go of the fear of messing up or the fear of not doing what I'm doing, like I'm actually doing what I need to do. I just need to be faster at it. And that's what I did. I just let loose. Went there faster and got to where I need to be.
Nice. The other thing is I know you play for Coach Kennedy, who I don't know personally, so he, from everything you say about him, he's an incredible coach, an incredible guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess from an outside perspective, you would say he's a shooter's coach. I mean, you guys shoot a lot of threes,
Yeah.
um, and so I think someone could get caught up in the concept of, oh, I have this green light, and they can start throwing up just shots that are terrible. You go, you have no
Yeah.
business shooting that shot, or I'm actually not open. And it's something I don't feel like, having watched your games and even looking at your stats. I mean, you go 7 for 9. One game you go 3 for 10, 1 for 6, but then you're 5 for 8, 4 for 6 from the 3-point line, 6 for 11, 4 for 9 from the 3-point line. Last game you chucked up a
Mm-hmm.
half court shot at the very end, so we'll say four
Yeah.
for eight. How do you know how do you stay? I guess the question is, with your ability and having the green light, how do you stay in that realm of taking really good shots?
Um, well, basically, running the floor on my part is how I get open. I feel like because I run, something else has happened on the other side, and defense is over there. I'm open, and I'll get the ball, shoot it. My teammates always tell me, "Don't hesitate. Whatever you do, don't hesitate. Like if no
Right,
one's in front of you, you're shooting the ball. Um, if I'm wide open, I'm gonna shoot it, and that's what everyone tells me. That's what my teammates tell me, like shoot the dang ball. But um, I think just them telling me that, I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna shoot it almost every time I have the ball when I'm open.
right,
And Kennedy, yeah, he's a shooting coach. Like he tells me if I'm open, shoot it. And for me, like if it's a contested shot, I better make it because it I'm a shooter. Like that's what I do. Like I'm
right.
gonna shoot it defense or not sometimes. So um yeah, just having the green light, I feel like if I do get carried away, I don't really feel that way because my teammates always can encourage me to shoot it, and until that stops, I'm gonna keep doing that. But yeah, like when I start missing shots or I'm in a slump or something, I'll bring it out. Like if I'm guarded, like I'm not gonna shoot it anymore. I'm gonna look to attack. I'm gonna look to make a play. I'm gonna look to drive, kick it out, something like that to help my team in a different way. Um, since I wouldn't be hitting shots at the time. So yeah,
Right.
just finding that balance, kind of like, okay, I'm making shots, I better keep shooting it, or I'm missing shots, look to attack next time, and then pull it out to shoot it again.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So a couple things, so you know, I wouldn't say we all know, because I don't know who's going to listen to this, but you're very skilled offensively, and your coaches know that, right?
Mhm.
And I remember talking to them through the recruiting process. They know what you can do in offense, but even them having known that, you weren't getting playing time because you weren't doing what you needed to do defensively with the effort, right? And
Mhm.
so I think a very valid point is that what got you on the floor and what is keeping you on the floor is your effort and your defense, and also your rebounding, right? You've averaged
Yeah.
8, 7, 8, 8. I think one game you had 1 rebound, which is a huge stat, and
Yeah.
so again, yes, offensive skills are great and they're hard to get, in my opinion, especially shooting. I think shooting is the toughest skill to learn, and I think it's the toughest skill to teach.
Mm.
So any player who has accomplished that, I just think, earns a lot of validation in terms of their work ethic. On a personal level, on a team level, that's when we get into defense and effort and rebounding, is now you're playing for the greater good of the team, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing, you talked about is a shooting slump. And I know you and we've talked about this, right? Hey, fix my shot. And it's like, hey, just if you're going to shoot it, decide to shoot it, you know?
Yeah.
And in watching your games over the course of the last 4 or 5 games, I've noticed that when before you catch the ball if you're going to shoot it. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you
That's
feel
when
that?
I make shots.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for any player, just having that decision of I'm open, I'm going to shoot it. And then as you're getting into your shot, if you get closed out or taken away, then I can go do something else. But
Hmm.
that decisive, self-determined decision of I'm shooting it, So
Yeah.
excellent. Good. So just a couple more questions. Um, we've talked about your playing career, your accomplishments thus far. If you had to do anything ever again differently, to that you think, oh, I should have done this differently, maybe I would have, whatever, done better here, what would that be, if there is anything?
Um, I'm not sure that there is. Maybe from my injury last year, I know I kind of overworked myself in the summertime leading into um my freshman year. So I feel like if I could go back and do something to eliminate that injury and to actually give myself a chance um to play my whole freshman season, like I feel like I would be in a better spot now. Not that I'm in a great spot right now, but I would have been at a great spot since the beginning.
Right.
And so I think that's just one thing I would have changed if I could go back.
Yeah, that rest and recovery can get overlooked
Mhm.
in youth. Not as you
Yeah.
age, but in youth.
Mhm.
Very important. Yeah. So, and then what advice would you give to a high school freshman who has goals and aspirations of playing, it doesn't have to be Division I basketball, but college basketball or professional basketball?
Yeah, like if you have any interest or you want to go play beyond high school, like any of like I would give advice of work hard and always be at your best. Just try to do your best, give your best effort, do extra things. Like you don't have to get in the weight room. Like I know that's not everyone's thing, but getting extra shots up, doing extra dribbling drills, getting extra reps in on the floor will make a world of difference. Um, Practices are for team things. They're not like individual work, unless they are individual workouts, then yes, but mostly your team practices are for your team. There's for you to get your team together. But individually, you need to take that time for yourself to work on your own skills, work on your own individual shooting, dribbling, even defense, conditioning, stuff like that, little things to help you be the best teammate that you can be. So,
Nice. Yeah, very good advice. And then as someone is kind of wavering their options in terms of the AAU process, I'm not asking you to name a program, but what advice would you give them in terms of what they should do?
um, find a team that you not only fit in on, but a team that will help you get to where you want to be. Because there are teams where, especially at a young age, like for girls, there's teams that they're just there for fun. They're just there to pass time, to stay in shape, and not go beyond high school, and that's fine. If you want to do that, that's okay. But if you're looking to further your career, it's it's very like crucial to have that competition daily and to stay on your toes and to stay ready for more competition, for better competition. Because if you're going to tournaments that are like iffy and they're just local and everyone's just there for fun, then you're not getting the better. They're just there for fun. They're not worried about you getting to college. So just find a team that not only will help you, but will like put you in positions to further your career. Find a coach that will know exactly how to get to where you are. Find a coach that like knows other coaches that could help you get to where you are, and like personal training and stuff like that. So
yeah, good. And then what is the value of having someone in your corner, that you could reach out to that can help you in times of, situations we may have talked about earlier where you're not necessarily performing like you would, figuring out what school to go to, just anything that comes up along the lines. What's the value of having someone that is there, that you trust and that has your best interest in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could always lean on your parents, or someone in your corner, but having that coach or a trainer that like you trust, that is invested in you also, that you could like basically rely on to help you when you're in a slump, or to help you when you're down on yourself or something like that. Like one coach isn't for everybody, one player, like, so you just have to find that one coach or two coaches or how many ever coaches like that could help you along the way. I know for me, you, Jules, and my high school coach, Sydney, you guys were my main coaches that I would always turn back on when I needed help, and basically with anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sydney's really good people. She does a really good job out there. I have a lot of respect for what she does and how she does it, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Lastly, what's your shirt say?
Shoot like a girl.
That's right. Love the plug. All right. I know you got a game tomorrow. I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you're doing, and I value your success. So just know that and admire the path that you took and how you got yourself there. So thank you. Good luck.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Shoot Like a Girl podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and go ahead and check out courtsidewithjules.com.